Hello everyone, welcome back to Apex Coasters. Today I'm going to be counting down my top 15 favorite roller coasters of the 2024 season. Now I know it is a bit late, but why not start now before a lot of 2025 comes rushing in. So to kick off today's video, just a quick reminder, I've only ridden around 27 roller coasters, so this list isn't going to be that big and abstract, as you could say. So on to number 15, we have Jersey Devil Coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure. Now, this ride had a slight rattle when I rode it in 2023, but it has still stayed in the top of my rankings because I just love the outstanding airtime, especially in the back row, and the great inversions like that stall right there and the zero-G roll. It's just really nice. I like the airtime, the lats, the forces. It's just a great ride overall, and I know a lot of people don't like Jersey Devil, but I'm personally a big fan, and I love this one-of-a-kind ride. Number 14, we have Revenge of the Mummy at Universal Studios Florida. I've ridden this at least 10 times, and I enjoyed every single time. It is such a fun roller coaster with the extensive theming that Universal put into this, the thrill factor. Although it's only 44 feet tall and goes around 44 miles an hour, the ride is just extremely fun. It feels so much faster. You get outstanding ejector over the launch to the top of the hill. I just really, really love this ride as a whole, and I'll definitely keep enjoying my experiences when I go on Revenge of the Mummy. As you can see here, it has actually a switch track, a backward segment with a small drop, and then it has a turntable, and it's just a really, really good ride overall, and I just hope that this ride stays at Universal for longer, since they are removing Riptide Rocket, which you will see later on this list. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for Revenge of the Mummy at Universal Studios Florida. On to number 13, we have Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom. I've only ridden this ride around 3 times, but it still continues to throw me every single time I ride it. That 80-foot drop, as you can see right here, pulled some of the best airtime I've experienced on any drop. Yeah, it was really surprising for me. And it just has such great airtime, and the animatronic Yeti, that definitely frightened me, and the theming is great, especially going up to the mountain. The whole story that Disney puts on for you, it's just one complete ride. It's like you just entered the real Himalayan mountains, and I just love this ride so much. On to number 12, we have a roller coaster that people don't much talk about, but a ride that I really enjoy, that is Steel Force at Dorney Park. With this being one of the only Morgan hypercoasters in the world, I just love the outstanding airtime and the way they have the lap bars that kind of feel like buzz bars, because they do not go all the way down onto my lap, and I just love that because over the camelbacks and V-shaped bunny hills, it's just super fun getting those out of your seat ejector airtime moments. There's also a really forceful helix in the middle, which I personally love a lot, and that just puts this ride into a whole, and it's a great ride for Dorney Park, and I hope they keep maintaining this massive, outstanding Morgan hypercoaster. On to number 11, staying at Dorney Park, we have Possessed. Now, Possessed is one of the only Intamin impulse coasters in the world, and I was just completely blown away at that 70-mile-an-hour launch right at the beginning. It was extremely fun, as you can see right here, and then it goes up the impulse, the twisted spike right there. It's just super, super fun, and I really enjoy this ride, and that's pretty much all I have to say. It does pull some great vertical hang time. You're not really upside down, but you're just hanging there for a minute. It's really fun, and especially that twisted spike in the front row. It's just something else on a roller coaster. Kicking off the top 10, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot, which I only rode twice, but each time was outstandingly fun. I love this Vekoma roller coaster. It is extremely fun. It reaches a top speed of 60 miles an hour and a top height of which I don't know. And I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Personally, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So just fitting into the setting of the ride, it's just overall a great ride. I love what Disney put into this ride. It's really fun, and it has some pretty nice airtime. I love how the seats spin and focus on one element. I don't really know what that's called, but it's something that Vekoma Engineering did with Universal. It's really cool, and so I hope this ride stays as good as I remember it when I rode it in 2022. Now, this ride again, is a must-do for everybody who goes to Epcot, and you won't have a complete day at any Disney park and even at the whole resort, a complete trip without going on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. At number 9, we have Hydra the Revenge at Dorney Park, which is probably one of the weirdest floorless coasters. Not weird like rough, but weird because of the elements. It goes out of the station with this wonky JoJo roll, which is a barrel roll right out of the station. And it's also seen on rides like Ride to Happiness and Copperhead Strike, and it just provides some of the best hang time you'll ever feel on a roller coaster. Then it goes up a 90-foot tall lift with a 100-foot drop, and in the back row, I got insane whip and some really nice ejector air time. I don't know how I got it, but I did, and it was just an outstanding first drop, one of the best I've ever experienced, actually. And the rest of the elements, like this one right here, is a kind of wonky dive loop. It has one of the weirdest cobra rolls on any roller coaster, and it just has some nice airtime throughout the ride, and I just love this floorless coaster. At number 8, we have Iron Menace at Dorney Park. Dorney Park's new for 2024 roller coaster. Iron Menace, I don't have much to say about this ride, but it is really fun, especially being almost 170 feet tall. The ride is a dive coaster, which means it hangs over the edge. It has a beyond vertical drop of 95 degrees, and this was the first dive coaster I've ever been on when I rode it at the time, so I was I didn't really know what to expect, but sitting in that front row for the first time ever on a dive coaster, it was just another experience. It was super, super fun, super cool. I didn't really like the rattle at the end right near the brakes. That was very jolting, and B&Ms have been having that problem recently, but I just tried to ignore it because I went on it 4 times, not in a row, but 2 in a row and then 2 again in a row, and this ride was just fun. I like the theming that Dorney Park put into it, not as much as I was expecting, but it was definitely pretty fun. At number 7, we have Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure at Universal's Islands of Adventure, which is possibly one of the most themed roller coasters in the world today. This ride was $300 million to build, $200 million behind Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which was roller coaster number 10 on this list. I personally like this better because I love the motorbike seating. It's extremely fun, and all those whip on the turns, and especially this floater airtime hill right after those turns that you just saw right here. The ride it floats through it, and I love that airtime. And every single launch on this ride feels like it's the top speed of 50 miles an hour. The drop track is the only drop track I've experienced, but it is outstanding. The ride as a whole is just a great part. It's a great part of Islands of Adventure, and it makes sense why this ride gets 3-hour wait times during any time of the day. At number 6, we have Talon the Grip of Fear at Dorney Park. Now, this ride is outstanding. This is the only B&M invert I have ridden, but the forces on that loop and the Immelman and that helix are just completely insane. I grayed out in the helix. It was so forceful, and all the elements of this ride is just such a fun ride. It's a really smooth B&M invert, and it's actually smoother than every other ride in the park of Dorney Park, so that is great, and I just love this ride as a whole. And I really think that even if it opened in 2001, it's still a great ride for the park and definitely number 1. Kicking off the top 5, we have Nitro at Six Flags Great Adventure. With the unbelievably long train, I ended up riding this in the middle row because I did not have time to wait for the front or back because the lines were extremely long. Now, the 230-foot climb is insane. It's slow, it's great, I love it. And it just really builds anticipation for the massive drop that follows. You reach a top speed of 80 miles an hour, and I was just completely blown away by this ride because it was my first B&M Hypercoaster and my second Hypercoaster, and this just tops every other B&M coaster that I've ridden, and it is just super fun, and it's definitely going to stay in my top 5 rankings for a long time. At number 4, we have the roller coaster that is actually closing in 2025 this year, so I will get my last rides in on it. We have the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, which is super fun. I love the soundtrack on it. I can listen to some of my favorite songs, especially that first drop in the back row and that second drop in the back row. Pull some insane whips, some of the best airtime I've ever experienced on a roller coaster. The forces are great. The lap bars are pretty comfortable. But the one thing that I kind of don't like is the slight rattle that you feel throughout the whole entire ride. Like that overbank turn right there, you just feel it a lot. And it definitely makes sense why Universal needs to remove this, because it's really hurting their lineup considering the downtime it has every single day. I haven't been there a day at Universal Studios Florida where Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket was open and running the whole entire day. I've always had technical difficulties. I almost got stuck up the lift hill, but I got stuck just before the lift, and it was just a pretty scary experience. I didn't get fast passes, which I was pretty annoyed about, but the rest of the experience, I mean, it's fun and all, but it definitely needed to be removed since it's at a very high tier park and this ride is kind of mid tier. At number 3, we have the Incredible Hulk coaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure. This ride is really, really fun. I love that Zero G roll, the launch. It pulls so many G's. The Cobra roll, the loop, all 7 inversions. It's just one of the best rides I've experienced. A lot of people say Hagrid's is better than it and many more rides, but I still think Incredible Hulk coaster is the second best roller coaster in Islands of Adventure. Now, the soundtrack that you hear on the ride is completely insane. It fits the ride perfectly. I know it's the Incredible Hulk soundtrack, and the Misty Tunnel. I love that. It always fogs up my glasses and it's so hard to see. And then just the whole ride is extremely fun. The drop off the mid-course, it makes it seem big. It feels big, but it's only like 20 feet. And the inversions on this ride are insane. The queue, the theming, everything on this ride is just completely fun, which, and it probably deserves a higher spot if the next roller coaster hasn't been closed forever. At number 2, we have Kingda Ka at Six Flags Great Adventure, the roller coaster that recently closed this past November, and it will be removed from the park. I am just really, really, really mad. I don't know how Great Adventure could remove such a legendary roller coaster. It doesn't make any sense, but I definitely see how the downtime that this ride has is very high, and so the ride it makes sense to be removed. So I'm just saying there's also a drop tower connected to the ride, so that will also be removed. It's called Zumanjaro, and I'm just really annoyed. I don't like what Great Adventure did with this. They could at least renovate the track or do something, because a lot of coaster enthusiasts were really mad at Great Adventure, but hopefully the suitable replacement for Kingda Ka will be something much better than the past ride. Now for number 1. We have the Jurassic World Velocicoaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure. This ride is completely insane with 2 launches, both LSM manufactured by Intamin. The ride has 4 inversions at top speed of 70 miles an hour, a ton of ejector and floater airtime, and the lap bars are extremely comfortable. I just love this ride. Front row rides, middle of the day. I got a front row night ride. It's out of this world. It's something every coaster enthusiast has to experience for themselves. And this ride has landed in most coaster enthusiasts' top 3 for since it opened in 2021. And it's a crazy experience. Amazing theming, super fast, the queue and the height. It's just a great all-around ride. There are no problems with this masterpiece, and I really just want to give a big round of applause for Universal creating such an astounding ride. And there you have it, my top 15 roller coasters of 2024. Make sure to like and subscribe, as if you made it this far into the video, you clearly like my content, and it would really help support my channel, as we are almost to 200 subscribers, and I probably might be doing a live stream soon, so keep a lookout for that, and make sure to subscribe to get notified when we are doing the live stream. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.